stone vet. I hit the ground running when I'm invading your country. And still with honor and discipline, throw my guns like onions.
What's up, guys? Sergeant G here from the STONED VET USMC. Super excited to be here with you guys today, man. Like I tell you guys every week, I love being able to do this because guess what? This is my counseling session, right? And what better way than to schedule my own counseling session on a weekly basis with who I want to speak with, right? Some of us have trouble. Don't get me wrong, dude. There ain't nothing wrong with seeing a counselor. There's nothing wrong with seeing psychiatric help. There's nothing wrong with it, dude. I just hate when I have to go and explain why I'm coming to see them over and over and over again. I had a great team a year and a half ago, and they all decided to retire or get new jobs. And so I'm like, all right, well, I guess I don't need a new team. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, well, we got to bring new people. And I was like, I don't want to explain my situation to them because I've already done this over and over again. It took forever for me to create the team that I had. But there's nothing wrong with it, guys. If you guys are going to get counseling, go get counseling, dude. It's good for you. It's good to have a counselor to speak with. It's very, very good. You know, I'm not knocking it, dude. I don't knock it. I just hate doing it myself, you know. Even some of y'all may understand that feeling, man. I appreciate you guys coming over to hang out to the #1 Marine Corps podcast in the entire world. Like I said, if you're watching me on YouTube, you can see that beautiful gold warhammer up here. Presented to me by none other than Shane over at Broken Jarhead, the #1 jarhead to create the Veteran Podcast Awards. Veteran Podcast Awards are among us again. It's 2022, so guess what? New awards ceremony coming in October, right? Hopefully you guys are listening in. You guys could be like, I'm going to vote for Sergeant G again. He's got to win that gold warhammer again. He's got to win a new one for 2022, man. And so hopefully you guys, like I tell you guys, if you guys don't like the show, share it. Hit that like, subscribe, and share button wherever it's at on the screen. Go share my content because the more brothers and sisters that we bring over to listen to it, we can save another life. That's one of the biggest struggles I tell you guys. Everybody knows we lose 22 veterans a day to suicide. Everybody in the world knows that, right? But nobody ever talks about the 35 we lose to opioid addiction on top of that. So while I'm sitting here BSing on a microphone with my guest, we have a brother and sister taking their own life. So we're averaging 57 veterans a day that take their own life. 57. I think we average about 2.5 million veterans that get out of active duty service every year. 57 of them take their life every day. So you do those numbers and you tell me where we're averaging at, right? So that's why I always tell you guys, share the content, right? A lot of people don't know who the Stoned Vet is. A lot of people don't know who Sergeant G is from the Stoned Vet USMC. Why is this sergeant always advocating for cannabis so strongly? Why is he advocating and hitting it so hard, right? And it's because it's a freaking plant. It's a medicine that people don't understand or are still trying to educate themselves on, right? There's a lot of studies that have been coming out, right? Israel is a big country. My guest today, Yana, who is from Russia, can tell you, I mean, coming from third world countries and stuff, Israel is a big country that does a lot of research study. They do a lot of research studies on a lot of various different things. Cannabis being one of the biggest ones. You should see the research studies that they've been doing in Israel in regards to cannabis and how it's helping their troops over there, man. So that's why I advocate for this, man. Huge shout out to my sponsor, Rafa 180. Like I tell you guys every episode, Rafa 180 provides you the best medicinal grade CBD on the market, hands down, coming from the only FDA regulated lab in the Midwest. One of the biggest struggles we have as veterans is that we suck at getting sleep. We hate getting sleep, right? We average 2 to 4 hours of sleep every night. If you're only getting 2 to 4 hours of sleep, don't you want that to be the best sleep you can get? Go over to Rafa 180. That's Romeo Alpha Papa Hotel Alpha 180.com. And when you pull it up, the first thing it's going to pull up is going to say time for sleep. Click that banner. It's going to take you to 2 amazing products on there. There's 3 products. One of them is a balm. So it helps with the sore joints, muscles, hands, and so forth. But the tincture that the Sapphire is on and the Night Ops. The Night Ops was created by an Iraq-Afghan war veteran who, like you and me, suck at getting sleep. So he wanted to create a pill that has CBD, natural minerals in it that provides bioavailability so that every mineral in it is radio frequency for bioavailability so that it can get into your bloodstream a lot faster, a lot healthier, right? We suck at eating good. We don't eat good. We eat like crap. We're always picking up fast food on the way home or wherever we're at, hanging out with our friends, picking up something quick to eat because we're always working, right? but this provides the natural minerals that your body needs to get the rest that it needs. If you're only getting 2 to 4 hours of sleep, why not make that the best 2 to 4 hours of sleep you can get? Go check out raw180.com, and when you check out, you know them little coupon boxes, you got a code or anything? Check out with the STONED VET USMC and get 15% off your entire purchase. You spend $85 or more, you get priority ship, and that means that's coming to your front door within the 2 to 3 days, depending on where you live in the country, right? Which is great. That's freaking great, dude. So go check out Rafa 180. Again, that's Romeo Alpha Papa Hotel Alpha 180.com to get all your medicinal grade CBD needs, man. Super excited today. So you guys always know I'm always talking about cannabis, right? Cannabis, CBD, psilocybin, lavenders, turmerics, freaking eucalyptus, natural remedies, right? Because guess what? As veterans, we're averaging what, man? How many pills do you guys take on a daily basis, dude? I seen one guy, he takes about 150 pills a day just to survive this life, just to live a normal life. 150 pills a day, dealing with anxiety, depression, GERD, freaking, you name it, there's a pill for it, right? One thing I told you guys back in the past on my episodes, we have doctors, Rafa 180 has doctors they work with regularly, and they said, dude, if you're taking three or more pills a day, the original pill you started taking isn't working anymore. Like, it's not there for you anymore. It's not doing what it's supposed to. It's not doing its intended purposes. Because guess what? You take this pill, but then you got to take this pill to counteract the side effects of this pill. And then you got to take this pill to counteract the side effects of this pill. So guess what? Why am I counteracting all the side effects of the damn pill that's supposed to be helping me live a normal life, right? And so that's one of the biggest things, right? So, but one of the things, right, a lot of people have struggled with that follow a God, right? I mean, I'm a Christian. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Christian. I believe in there's only one and only God. But for a lot of people that are listening on the show, you guys believe in your own gods. You guys have your own follow as to what you believe in, right? Everybody believes in something, right? I'm a Christian. I believe in God and that there's only one God, right? But everybody, I mean, you got Buddhists, you got freaking monks, you got Allah, Middle Eastern people that believe in Allah. I mean, just around the world, there's so many gods around the world, right? We all understand that. We all know that. Being in the military, I mean, we always got to understand the rules of engagement because it's different in every country that we put our boots in, right? In every country, we have to understand that, right? And so for this episode, I decided to reach out. I was like, let me reach out. Let me bring somebody in who does this on a regular basis that actually studies biblical manifestation, right? So I'm bringing in Yana. I just met Yana. So like I said, I love doing podcasting because I have a great network of people that I've been able to bring in for my show. And Yana here was having some trouble with some podcasting stuff, right? Our brother Travis was like, hey, do you think you can help her out? I said, I'll give it a shot. I don't know. I'll try. I'll see what I can do. I'm not great, but I'll figure it out, right? And so I got to meet Yana. Here, and she's like, I'm doing a podcast too on biblical manifestation. I was like, oh, really? I gotta definitely listen into this. I gotta figure this out, right? Because that's one of my things. I gotta better my walk with my Lord and Savior. I gotta do that. I gotta start learning. So she's starting it. She's getting it going. How you doing, Yana? How you doing today?
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. I'm doing great. And, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why we met. There's a reason why you're having me on this show. I mean, right. God is good. Doesn't matter what God you believe in. I'm also a Christian, obviously, biblical manifestation.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, God is good and he makes connections all the time. So I'm definitely very thankful to be here. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm super excited to be here. For you guys that have been watching the show, right? So now you guys see a beautiful green screen, right? I'm going to see what I can do with editing, see if I can get... So the ladies from Season Crazy did not like my garage look. They didn't like the hanging out in their garage look. They wanted a better image. So they bought a green screen and said, we're going to put images up. And I'm like, oh, great. Let me try to see how I can edit this through. I don't know. We'll figure out in editing, though, so we can do this. But yes, Yana here. You were a Russian immigrant, correct? And you came to this wonderful country, right?
And it's interesting that you touched on Israel. I don't think I mentioned to you, but I do have Jewish roots. I am part Jewish, part Russian. I'm a big mix of things, but mostly Jewish and Russian. A little
Okay.
bit of Ukrainian, Romanian, but
Oh, a little bit of everything. You a little bit of everything in
yeah,
there, right?
yeah,
You know,
but
and so
but I do follow the Jewish faith. I
okay.
am a Messianic Jew, meaning I believe in Jesus Christ as our Savior and the Lord. And I have done a lot of Bible study, Torah study. I actually decided to step away from my faith and everything God related for about 2 years because I was like, I'm not just going to believe what my parents want me to believe. What if I was born
Right.
into Buddhism? What if
Right.
I
And
was
that's
born
one
into
thing.
Hinduism?
That's one thing we teach our children in our home. We're like, look, dude, you can't have my relationship. This is my relationship. I'm going to teach you, but it's up to you to decide on how you want to pursue your relationship with the Lord and
Yep,
Savior, right? And like you
exactly.
said, you had to go figure it out, right? You as a grown adult said, I've got to figure this out, right? Because there's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
people, a lot of us struggle, right? A lot of us struggle because we're like, well, we were always taught da 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 da. Now I got to go
Yeah.
find out. I got to go find out if this is what I believe in or not, you know? And
Exactly. I mean, I was
like that,
22 years old. I was like, I'm done believing what everybody wants me to believe. I'm going to do my own research. And I
right?
really started to dig to what was the original, what was the first religion. And I came to find out that it was the Jewish Torah. That was the original language that the Bible was actually written in. And the further I tried to run away from God, the closer he brought me to him. And I was like,
That's
oh,
the way it always is. That's the way it always is. And like for you guys, this is what I tell you guys about, especially understanding, trying to use natural remedies to heal ourselves from, to get off the pharmaceuticals that we're on, right? Is that we have to educate ourselves. You don't know what you don't know, but how do you go and find the education? How much? How? I mean, there's so much education. There's so much different word out there that it's hard to decipher what's facts and what's fake. And you, Yana, doing this, I'm sure you've came across a lot of it. And you're like, what is this? Who wrote this? Like, did somebody really write this to say that this is it? Like, what were their
yeah.
beliefs on this? And it's hard. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is hard to find what is facts, what is factual, and what's fake, right?
Yeah, most of the time it's not going to be straight off the internet because I could put an
Right.
MD after my name and be like, this study shows this and this, and who's going to know?
Right. Nobody's gonna really know. I mean, how many people are really gonna dig in and find out who you are and where you went to school and all this other
Yeah.
craziness, right? And that's a big struggle. I mean, especially with a lot of people. Like, I mean, in the cannabis industry, there are a lot of people who have been studying cannabis for decades, never went to school. They never went to school. They didn't get no 8 year, 16-year degree. They've just been studying cannabis and the natural remedies and how it's been helping with who they associate with, right? I have a ton of people that are like, dude, I've seen this do amazing things. Like, I've seen it stop seizures. I've seen it beat cancer. I've seen it help somebody eat that hasn't been able to eat in weeks. Like, they're able to eat. And I was like, these are the stories that need to be told. Like, people need to hear this stuff because a lot of people are still kind of like, I don't know if this would work for me or if it will or if it won't. Or I've tried CBD, but it didn't work for me, you know? And my biggest thing is what I try to tell people who listen to the show. I was like, CBD is like any other medication that's out there, right? If a doctor prescribes you a medication, if he prescribes a new medication, what does he tell you? Come let me know and to try it for about 2 to 3 weeks and come back and let me know if it's working for you. Because if it's not working, I need to figure out how we need to adjust your dosage. Do we need to increase it or do we need to decrease it, right?
Exactly
And,
that.
and I mean, with CBD, it's the same way. If you take too much of it, it's not going to work. If you take too little of it, it's not going to work, right? And you have to find that perfect balance, you know? And that's what I love about my sponsor. They've been working in it for about 8 years or so now, but they understand because, like I said, like if you need stronger CBD, can we jump you up to CBG? CBG is kind of a stimulant and it can make you a little bit irritated. If it makes you a little bit irritated, then we'll just give you more CBD and take the CBG away. But if the CBD is too much, we can adjust it and give you CBG because it's not going to make you as irritable as just regular CBD itself. And so understanding the balance and knowing that's the biggest thing. Education's key, right? Education is key, especially you, Yana, going through and been studying biblical manifestation, right? I'm sure you've been studying a lot about the Bible and the truths about it and where its origins and how we in life go towards it and try to read it and understand it. Isn't that right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I want to touch on a couple of things. I really want your listeners to go back and do their own research too. A couple of questions, and I'm sure you've hit them with these statistics, but this is coming straight out of the CDC, that the new data documents that the estimated overdose deaths from opioids increased to 75,673 in 12-month period ending in April 2021. That's up 56,000 from the year before. That's just that's overdose deaths from like synthetic opioids, which is, primarily fentanyl, and psychostimulants such as methamphetamine. Those things increased. So absolutely. Cocaine deaths, as the deaths from natural or semi-synthetic opioids, which is, prescription pain medication. Yes. That's what a lot of doctors are giving you. These are man-made things that have been derived from other things that have been formulated. And then look at alcohol. It's 1 in 3 people drink alcohol, which is equivalent to 2.4 billion people. 2.2% of women and 6.8% of men die from alcohol-related health problems each year. Now, let's take a look at cannabis, THC, CBD. I've been trying to do the research. There is absolutely nothing fully documented that people are overdosing or dying or having any kind of really serious health-related issues from cannabis. Now, why is that? Well, the Bible tells us straight up. I mean, look at Genesis 1:11 through 12. And then God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds. And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. So I got my trusty Torah here, and this is just the first 5 books of the Bible translated into Hebrew. This particular version has a lot of commentary on it by scholars and rabbis. And I really want you guys to focus in on Genesis 1:12, where God says, and God said that it was good. What does that mean? That it fulfills its purpose to serve as food for humans and animals. What's cannabis?
That's food.
But was it formulated by another human? Was it refined? Was it? No, it's a plant.
Absolutely.
It was a plant that God made. It's got seeds. It's not refined. It's not formulated. It means it's good. Every single plant, everything has been made by God for a medicinal purpose. Absolutely. But I mean, even take dandelion. Dandelion's good. Do a little bit too much of dandelion, it can kind of affect your health. But you don't see that with THC. You don't see that with CBD. Why? Because it was made for a higher purpose. Now, I'm not just talking about recreationally having fun with it. I'm talking about really treating things like you mentioned, seizures. I have personally seen somebody suffer with a seizure and having CBD oil rubbed on the bottoms of their feet stop that seizure. I mean, this is a truly miracle plant when used in its proper purpose. Because if you continue to look throughout the Bible, you've got 1 Corinthians 10, 23 to 24 says, I have the right to do anything you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but not everything is constructive. So no one should seek their own good, but for the good of others. So you're literally being told, yeah, I can do everything, but not everything is beneficial. So when you're dissecting it, when you're looking at CBD, THC, cannabis, when you're using it for a higher purpose, for a good purpose, to treat something, to help you sleep, to help you eat, to, calm the anxiety, this is a very natural and healthy way of doing it. There is, what are the side effects? Hungry, happy, sleepy? I mean, I'll take that over the side effects of, any opioids that you're going to be taking. And this is just what boggles my mind. It's like doctors are prescribing things that have side effects that will potentially harm you over something that's a natural plant. I mean, the government loves pushing things that are not natural, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing a lot of people are understanding. Right now, there's a big push, right? So I'm thinking federal legalization is going to happen sooner. This year is what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed that I'm praying that federal legalization is happening, because regardless if you're a left wing Democrat or a right wing Republican, there are two bills in Congress sitting in Congress right now, a left wing
Yeah.
and a right wing side. I don't care. I don't care. My biggest goal is to end the prohibition, right? We have to federally legalize cannabis, dude. Like, we have to do it. Like, I mean, back a long time ago, alcohol was prohibition, right? Like, if you created alcohol, it was bad, right? People went to jail. It happened, right? It happened for alcohol. But now alcohol is in every corner. You can buy it on Sundays now. Like, you can go and buy alcohol on Sundays now.
In most
But
counties, at least.
in most, in most counties, in most states, you can buy it on Sundays now, right? And this is one of the biggest things that people struggle with, right? It's like, alcohol is readily available. Anybody at the age of 21 and older can go and get alcohol, right? They can go and get smashed drunk, buy as much alcohol as they want, and get so drunk that they don't remember how they got to where they're at, right? And that's one of the biggest struggles, especially as a veteran. You guys watching the show, 90% of you guys are veterans that are listening in and watching the show. Those of you that aren't veterans, it's cool. You guys still drink too. I mean, everybody drinks, right? But that's one of the biggest crutches that we have as veterans. When we come back from deployments, what do? Go get a case of beer and let's go drink. Go get a bottle of liquor, get a bottle of whiskey, let's go and drink. And you get so drunk, you wake up the next day and you guess what? You got this crazy freaking hangover. Like, what did I do last night, right? You got the hangover because you poisoned your body. You put so much poison into your body that your body's trying to fight it off to try to get back to normal. That's why you're hungover. That's why you vomited so much, right? You poisoned yourself. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but I mean, it's poison. You are literally poisoning yourself. When you drink so much, when you consume so much alcohol and you vomit and you wake up hungover, you poisoned yourself the night before. And a lot of people don't understand that. And this is why I vouch for cannabis so much. Can you overindulge in cannabis? You're absolutely right. You can absolutely overindulge in cannabis.
Well, what happens then? You just kind of go to sleep, right?
You go to sleep. You go to sleep and you wake up better than you did. You wake up better the next day, right? You're not hungover.
What happens when you overindulge in alcohol? I mean, how many cases have we heard of somebody beating somebody up, somebody driving a vehicle and causing a major accident? Now, that's not to say that you should be smoking or, ingesting cannabis and driving. I'm not an advocate for any of that.
No, not at all.
And no judgment here. Absolutely no judgment from either of us.
Right.
You could do what you're going to do, but let's just look at it from a very biblical standpoint as well.
Right.
You've got something that's legal that will definitely change the way that you act. It could, bring out aggression, which I'm talking about alcohol. It could bring out a lot of aggression, violence. Of course, you're not coherent fully.
Right.
But when you are on cannabis, I've never seen any kind of aggression come out. You're just kind of mellowed down.
Right.
Which, and I'm not demonizing anything, but when you are looking at it from a very biblical standpoint, all of these things are gateways. They're gateways to demonic manifestations.
There you go.
So
that's one thing, and I know that's one thing that you study about, right? I mean, you study
Yes.
biblical manifestation. You understand the demons that are out there, right?
Yes.
Most
people associate manifestation with a demonic entity, something demonic. But I mean, hey, how did God create the earth? He spoke it into existence. He didn't work with his hands. That's a manifestation of itself. And because we are made in God's image, we have been given the power that Jesus has to manifest as well, because the Bible tells us that we'll be able to make even greater things than Jesus had. So manifestation is either you could be manifesting good or you can be manifesting bad. And when you are taken in a substance that inhibits you so much, like alcohol or opioids, I mean, you're opening up a portal to the enemy to go ahead and attack you. But when you're looking at cannabis, it can be used as a portal, but when you are using it for good to treat yourself, when you're having serious health issues, like anxiety flare-ups, or you seriously can't sleep. I mean, think about it. People who are sleep deprived, that's really affecting your health a lot. Absolutely. On every single level. So
Absolutely.
using it to get a good night's sleep, that's only going to benefit you. That's going to make
No,
you feel
absolutely.
rested,
And that's
healed.
one thing I tell these guys. That's one thing I tell my audience about. That's one of the things if you don't get good sleep, it's bad. It's bad for your health. It
It's
literally
going to
is
affect
bad for your
everything
health.
in your life. It's going to
Yeah.
affect your relationships, how you are presenting yourself out into the world. The
Right.
things that you're thinking, it affects the mind so much. Not having enough sleep. It's
Right.
crazy to think about that. But and it's crazy to think about that a plant that God created literally can help you sleep. Whether it's eucalyptus, like an essential oil, which
Right.
cannabis is also can be made into an
Essential
essential
oil.
oil.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
That's
that's
amazing.
one thing I try to tell you guys about. That's one thing I try to explain to you guys to understand. Like, lack of sleep sucks. Like, if you don't get enough sleep, life is gonna suck. You're gonna think about all the mistakes you've made. You're gonna think about how you're feeling as a father, as a spouse, as a friend, and it's just gonna keep eating you up, eating you up, eating you up if you're not getting enough sleep. If you're not getting the proper amount of sleep, it will, like Yana said, it is bad for your health. It is absolutely bad for your health. And one of the things, that's why I always tell you guys, it's like, you guys have got to understand why I vouch so much for cannabis. Why do I vouch so much for CBD? It's a natural product, dude. You guys already know. You guys are already getting the sleep aids, right? You're getting the Ambien, and all these other sleep aids that the VA will give you. They'll give them to you, right? But if you're not averaging between 18 and 20 hours of sleep, you're gonna feel like garbage, right? You're gonna be like, God, I am so tired. I just slept for 17 hours and I'm still exhausted. Why? Because of the opioid that's in your system. Your body has to try to get it out of your body. Your body's trying to push it out, saying, okay, we're done with this. We need this out, right? But if you're taking them every day, then you become dependent on it, right? Another
Plus,
big
the
thing,
effects kind of start to diminish, don't they? It's like
right?
you're
Yeah.
building up a tolerance.
You're building up a tolerance, and the same thing is with melatonin. So, like Yana was saying, right? She was talking about people who are being addicted to opioids and stuff. So, melatonin is another big thing. Since COVID has happened, a lot of us have been working from home. We work from home, so that means we make our own schedule. We just gotta make sure we put in enough hours at work to do that. And they said a lot of things that a lot of people have been taking a ton of melatonin. And your body naturally produces melatonin. That's how you go to sleep, because your body's exhausted. You got enough melatonin to help you get to rest, right? The thing is that if you're taking a synthetic melatonin on a daily basis to go to sleep, guess what? You need more, and you need more, and you need more. You're going to get to a point to where your body will stop creating its own natural melatonin and become dependent on the melatonin pills themselves. This is why I tell you guys, go over to Rafa 180. Rafa 180 has a natural remedy, CBN. CBN helps calm the mind. It's not going to put you to sleep. It's going to help calm your mind so you can go to sleep. That's what I love about the products that they have there. These are not sleep aids like they're going to put you to sleep. These are sleep aids like they're going to turn off your mind. They're going to help you turn off your mind so you're not thinking about tomorrow. You're not thinking about the project. You're not thinking about the job. You're not thinking about anything. You're thinking about going to sleep, because as we all struggle with it, we're all thinking about the next day. We got to do this. I got to do that. I got to get this. I got to get this done. I got to do that. I got to get the kids over to school. I got to get them over to the practice. I got to make sure that I got enough treats for them for their class. We're going through life. Life happens. We're always thinking of the next thing. We always are, right? But what the CBN and what the Sapphire and the Night Ops does, it helps turn your brain off. It helps turn it off. So when you're laying down, you're not thinking about all those things. You're thinking about getting sleep. So it turns the brain off, and it allows you to go and get the rest that you need, because you already know you're not getting a lot of it. And when you wake up, you're waking up because you're tired. You're not waking up because of the sleep aid, right? You're not going to be groggy because of the sleep aid. You're going to be groggy because you just didn't get enough sleep, like we all do, right? But you're going to wake up feeling a lot better, and you're going to be like, let me try this again. And you got to keep taking it, because it's going to help you get to sleep. And before you know it, you're not even going to need the product. You're going to be like, dang, I can actually go to sleep by myself, because your body's natural melatonin has taken place, has gone into effect, gone into it, right? And
how many drugs can you say that about?
Right? No, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right, Yana. Like, you can't. I mean, if you're taking the Ambien and all the other sleep aids, I mean, it sucks, dude. Like I said, I've never taken one, but I've heard the horror stories of people who take them on a regular basis. Like, they're like, you need so much sleep just to wake up refreshed off of these. And I'm like, I don't have the time to be sleeping that much. You know what I'm saying? It sucks, but how many of us really to go back and see, oh, I can sleep for 18 hours today? Well, you just wasted a whole day. Like, nothing got done because you had to sleep, right? Because you took a pill, a sleep aid, and it sucks because you're like, oh, this is not good at all, you know?
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD and products made locally. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
And so that's one of the things that's one of the excitements I had today of bringing Yana on the show, is to be able to help, to come from I guess what a lot of people probably look at as a religious standpoint. I mean, being a Christian, I don't believe in religion, but there's a ton of religion out there, right? There's a ton of religion, and regardless of whatever your beliefs are, if you have a religion, that's fine. Mine is a relationship that I've built with the Lord, studying and going and asking for help, and just, it's my relationship, right? I don't believe in a religion, but for you guys that do believe in a religion, this is why I bring Yana on, who studies biblical manifestation, to help you guys have a better understanding of, look, dude, this is okay. Cannabis is okay. She's broke out scripture and told you guys, look, it says it in the Bible. This is what it says, right? It's a seed bearing fruit is what it is, right? And it helps. These are natural remedies that help treat.
Exactly. And we're not talking about just doing it for fun, doing it for recreation. Yeah. This is literally for medicinal purposes. Mm-hmm. If this would not be a plant that was good, wouldn't have been created by God. Absolutely. And he made all plants to be used for good. So when you're not abusing what God put out there, like Paul was saying in Corinthians, everything's permissible, but not everything is good. But when you're using it for that purpose to actually help you get healed, right, that is where it comes into where this is for you. If you're definitely wanting something that's a natural good remedy, look at THC, look at CBD. Because that is not man-made. It's not going to cause you to have these side effects to where you're dependent. That's right. It. You're stuck to doing this forever. And then you're building up this tolerance and you're having all these side effects that you got to battle. Because it's a vicious circle. Doctor will give you one pill and be like, here, take this for the rest of your life. But wait, you have headaches now? Let's get you another pill. And so on and so forth. It's like this vicious cycle that you were fighting to get out of, and then it's causing more issues and more problems and more health issues, and you're like, I'm tired of this. So if you're there, yeah, and if you're there, if you're honestly, if you're like, okay, I'm at the end of my rope, I am tired of this. First of all, turn to God, turn to God, turn to Jesus, and be like, help me. He's gonna point you in the right direction. He always does.
Absolutely.
But that is why he created natural remedies for us. There's all these amazing plants like turmeric. Hey, that's an anti-inflammatory.
Right.
That's an amazing plant that he made. Cannabis, also an amazing plant that he made. It wasn't manufactured by another human. Like all these are the things. Now we got cocoa, which is a great plant too. But that's been processed and broken down into cocaine, which will harm you.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And that's a lot of things that a lot of my audience. That's why I try to tell them. I said, cannabis is great, CBD is great, but there are so many natural remedies that grow from the soil, right? That grow from the soil here. You got your lavenders and your freaking eucalyptus.
I love lavender.
Lavender. Everybody loves lavender. Everybody loves how calming it is, right? And there's so many different natural remedies that are out there that, like you said, essential oil. If you do essential oils, where do you think the oil came from? A plant. It's coming from a plant, right? If you love how this helps you, because people, you guys that do essential oils, you guys already know. You guys have a better understanding. Like, oh yeah, this helps with this. This helps with this. This helps with this. Every oil has a purpose, right? Every one of them has its own purpose and what it can do. That's the plant. That's the plant. That's the seeds of the earth that the Lord put here to say, hey, I'm going to grow this to help with this, right? He knew when he planted it, the Lord knew when he planted it, people are going to need these to help with the daily struggles, right? We all have daily struggles. We struggle every day with whatever it is, you know. Mental health is a huge one right now, especially with COVID and everything else. Mental health is huge right now. What are you doing to treat your mental health? Right. And like I said, I brought Yana on because a lot of you guys who are religious, who may be like, I don't think I can use this because it's federally illegal, right? Whatever the case may be. If you think that you can't use it because of your beliefs, this is why I brought Yana on, to help encourage you to have a better understanding of knowing, like, oh no, she's saying here. And like Yana said, do your own research. Like, you have to educate yourself. Like, we can tell you because we know it, because we've done our research, but only take my advice like a grain of rice. Like, only, I mean, go and do your own research and see it, right? I'll provide the information for it so you can see it. But definitely go and do your own research and read it for yourself. See it with your own eyes so you have a better understanding of, oh yeah, right here, she did say it. She did say it here in Genesis. Right here. Here it is in Genesis. It says it right here. She just wasn't just reading it. Like, she didn't just say it. She had it right in front of her, and she's showing it, and she's telling you where to go to look for it so you can find it yourself, right? I mean, because throughout the Bible, it's like you said, God always, he said, let it be, and it was there, right? And
Exactly.
I mean, and throughout the Bible, he talks about the fruit of the earth, right? The Lord's always talking about the fruit of the earth and how it will be good, right?
So you also have the other coin of discernment. Discernment and wisdom is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure that you're praying for what you want to hear from God. And he's going to help you understand, well, maybe CBD or THC isn't my answer. It could be turmeric, it could be lavender, but it's always present those things to God and ask him, what is the answer for you? And it could be CBD for you, not THC, but CBD. That's going to help your problem that you have. So it's always the discernment and wisdom factor that you also have to ask from God is, what is the right course of action for me? Because I mean, we can share our opinions. We can bring you the facts all day long, but everybody is a little bit different. Everybody's body is a little bit different. Tolerance and reaction to certain herbs is going to be different. So you have to do what's right for you as an individual.
Right.
This is not just like a cure-all for everybody. This is the same thing for everybody. You're always having to, just like the Bible says, present your request to God in God's name. And he's going to point you in the right direction and help you with exactly what you need. So if you're having any kind of issues, any kind of health related problem, especially mental health, that is so huge. Not just for vets, not just for people who are sitting at home, and they're lonesome with COVID and restrictions and things, but just on a general, you could be a very young individual and having anxiety. Like, I used to deal with a lot of anxiety myself, and I'm not a vet, but it's a very common thing for a lot of people to be dealing with. You don't have to be a vet necessarily. You don't have to be up in age to have a mental health issue. And it's been so stigmatized to even talk about it. So we're going to just break that stigma. It's okay to have issues, but it's also okay to talk about these issues. Now, not as like a little woe is me kind of thing, but how do I fix it? How can I bring awareness to it? And how can I fix it and find more solutions?
Right.
And plants and medicine, that's a solution to whatever problem that you may be having.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's like I tell you guys, man, cannabis isn't for everybody. CBD isn't for everybody. You know, I don't want you guys to feel as though all that's all Sergeant G's trying to do is push this, push this, push this. No, I'm not. That's not the point I'm coming to. I'm just trying to provide you alternate remedies to get off the pharmaceuticals because like I said, we are losing 35 veterans a day to opioid addiction. It's easy. I got muscle relaxers in the house like crazy. Like if I wanted to pop a muscle relax, I'll pop one, and then I'll pop another one. When I got out of the Marine Corps in 2009, that's one thing they gave me were muscle relaxers, and I was popping them like M&Ms. I was just eating them every 2 hours. Every 2 hours, I was putting another one in my mouth, eating another one, eating another one, eating another one. I got to a point where I woke up and I was like, I gotta stop doing this. This is not good. I cannot be popping pills like this, right? And cannabis was illegal here in the state of Oklahoma at the time when I got out in 2009. And I was like, I told myself, but a lot of people can't. A lot of people won't wake up and be like, I can't do this. I need more. I need more. I need more. I need more. And the VA, you guys already know, the VA will give you anything you want. If you just start telling them, hey, I want to try this. I want to try this one. That's not working anymore. I need to try this. Or I need to try that. You know, that's not working anymore. And this is just one of the things that I wanted to help with you guys about, man, is being able to bring Yana on, talking about from a biblical standpoint. Hey, look, it's okay. Like, you guys have to just educate yourself and have a better understanding of the natural remedies that are out there, right? There's natural remedies out there. If you're still scared of cannabis, my goal is to help break that stigma, to help you feel confident enough that you know what to go to look for, right? I've talked to Travis. You know how great Travis is, Yana. He's always pushing people to do better.
I
than what
do.
they right?
I absolutely love Travis. He's amazing.
He's amazing. Yeah, he's always pushing to do better. And one thing he told me, he's like, you need to create a book. You need to create a handbook on the terpene profiles of cannabis, so people understand what to look for when they go to purchase cannabis. What kind of terpenes to look for with what they help with. And I was like, I know, I got to get on it. I really do need to start writing this book, right? And it's almost like a handbook for you guys whenever you guys go to the dispensary. You guys, because I mean, we buy black market, we don't know what we're buying. We really don't know. So they'll say there's hundreds of thousands of different strains of cannabis out there, all with their own names that people are just like, how did you come up with that name? And you just don't know at that point, right? But if you go to a dispensary, you should know, right? I had this not a week or so ago. I had Ryan early on the show, and he was telling me here in Oklahoma, there's no set standard for testing, right? You go to a lab, they can adjust those numbers to the left or to the right, I guess, depending on how much you're paying them to test your product. Which sucks. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, no, there is no standard to say, okay, this is where it is. He said, he's like, it just depends on if you're good with them or not. If you're good with them, they'll add a little bit more, saying it's a little bit higher in THC. But if you're not paying them enough, they'll just say it's a little bit less THC. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. He's like, no. And the numbers can be fudged by 25%. I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, no.
That's scary. That's why you got to do your own research and have your own knowledge base.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you guys go to a dispensary, ask for the lab reports. Let me see the lab reports. Like I tell people, don't look for the THC content. Do not look at the THC content. Look at the terpene profile on it. What does this what terpenes are in this plant? Keep a journal. Yana, studying biblical manifestation. I'm sure you got journals after journals after journals, notes after notes after notes, right?
I do.
This is what I tell people who start using cannabis. Keep a journal. Write the name of the plant, right? It's going to be some off-the-wall name. Write the name of the plant. Write the terpene profile. What kind of terpenes did the plant have? And then, how did it make you feel? Did it give you great relaxation? Did it make you super anxious? Did it activate your depression? Did it relieve your depression? Were you able to get good sleep? Or were you not able to get good sleep? You got to take it. Was it indica? Was it a hybrid? Was it sativa? What kind of plant was it? Keep your journal so you understand, so you know this is what works for me.
Exactly.
Like I said, when I was able to smoke, I would stay high all day long. And people are like, how are you high all day? Because I have a lot of demons in my head that I don't want to deal with. So if I smoke, I don't have to deal with what's inside my head. I can deal with what's in front of me. what I can treat, how I can take care of my kids, take care of my spouse, take care of work, do it. I would be high, but I wouldn't be so high that I couldn't function. I would be high to where I just wouldn't have to think of the crap that's going on in my head, and I was able to focus on what's in front of me, you know? And that's called medicating. A lot of people don't understand that. It's medicating when you know how to microdose and how to medicate yourself, right? And that's one of the biggest things that people struggle with. They're not, well, he's just going to smoke weed just to get high. No,
And
that's
this is not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about just
right?
having fun, smoking weed.
Right.
Now, listen, weed can be ingested as an actual food.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to smoke it. You know, if
Right.
you're worried about the effects that it's going to cause on your lungs, because that's never good.
Right.
You can eat it. You can ingest an oil, a tincture. You know, you can rub on an oil. So there's different ways of getting it into your system for medicinal purposes. You know, we're not talking about just messing around, having fun and being a kid, you know,
Right.
in my garage.
Hey, no, and like I tell people, I said, don't get me wrong. Is there a time and place? Absolutely. There's a time and place, dude. There's a time and place to get ridiculous stoned and just to be stoned, right? There's a time and place for it. Just like when you guys like to go in and overindulge in alcohol, there's a time and place, right? It's not every day. If you understand how it works as a medicine, you guys will respect the plant more and be like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what Sergeant G's talking about. This is what he's been fighting for and advocating. Wow, I cannot believe that I can actually function and get my job done pain-free. You know, like I told you guys before, I like to blend my flower. Like this here, this is a good medicine. This is a Highland Thai. This is a good medicine I tell you guys about. It's a 1-to-1. So it's got 9% THC and 9% CBD. So this is considered a 1-to-1. It's medicine, right? You
And notice he didn't say 98%.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not 98%. This is 9% THC and 9% CBD. It is medicine. Can you smoke? Can you smoke enough of it to where you can get high? Absolutely. You can still get high off it. Like I said, it's got 9% THC in it.
That's not the end purpose.
No, that's not the end purpose, right?
High. It's
so
to
for me,
treat.
I like to blend my flower. I like to go get a high THC flower, and I'll go over to Empire Genetics and get me a nice CBD flower that they have, and I blend it. I like the head shift, so I'll put a little bit more THC to my CBD ratio because I like the head shift. But you have to understand how high of a head shift do you really need. I just need enough just to be able to function, or I want to get full-blown stoned. I won't add no CBD. If I just want to be stoned, I won't add any CBD. It'll just be THC. But if you're wanting to function and wanting to know what's it like. So there was one time I blended my THC and CBD flower, and it was the perfect blend. I felt like an 8-year-old kid. I was no longer in pain, no anxiety, no depression, not worried about life. I was like, let's go do something. I want to go have fun. Like, I feel amazing. And my brother, who's passed away a few years now, his PTSD got the best of him. He told me before he passed away, he was like, I found it. I said, what'd you find? The perfect blend. Because I had told him about it. I said, it was the perfect blend. He was like, that was probably the best feeling I've ever had using cannabis. I said, because it's medicine. When you understand how medicine works, you will appreciate it even more, right? You will appreciate the plant even more when you know how to use it. And it comes with time, right? People are going to tell you this, tell you that. That's how it worked for them.
And everybody's different.
Everybody's different. Everybody's body's made up differently. So medicine works differently for everybody. This is why I tell you guys, don't be scared to use a plant, right? Like I tell my kids, like I tell all my kids, you don't know what you don't know. And don't feel bad for not knowing. But you have to educate yourself. You have to understand, okay, this is what it is. This is what Sergeant G said. Sergeant G said, break out a journal, right? Journals, right? There's journals. Like, I got a journal right here. There's a journal right here, right? Ideas. Look at that. It says ideas on it. There's journals, right? You write it down. The name of the plant. What is it? Sativa? Indica? Hybrid? Terpene profile. All the terpenes that are in this plant that it says that are in this plant. And how it made you feel. So later on down the road, when you've been using it for a couple of months, you can go back and you smoke something like, whoa, I don't like that. That made me feel like crap. My anxiety went through the roof. I couldn't function. I couldn't feel it. If you get that way, it's okay. Guess what? Take a little bit of CBD and drink some orange juice. It's going to bring you down and get you off that high, right? And then now you know I can't smoke that kind because the terpenes did not agree with my chemical makeup, right? We all have our own chemical makeup. We're all created differently, right? We are our own person. Nobody's created the same.
And this
Right,
is
so
part of taking responsibility for what you are doing. If you are, self-medicating, you need to know what you're doing it for and how it makes you feel and what to avoid or what to do for next time. Because it's not just kids in the garage trying to get high. You're actually trying to treat whatever problem you're having.
Right.
With a plant.
Absolutely.
So
and Yana studying the Bible. I mean, I can guarantee you she's got journals all over her house. She just moved, so they're probably all packed up. But she's got journals everywhere, right? You got journals.
I do. I'm actually looking at 3 of them around me right now.
Yeah, see, because you studied and you took notes and you're like, okay, oh, this is what it says. This is what the Bible's telling me, right? This is what it's telling me, right? Because like you said, when you actually sit down and you actually start studying the Bible and building your relationship with the Lord and Savior, you got to take notes, right? What am I asking the Lord for today? What am I asking the Lord for today to help me with? You write it down. And then, did he answer it? Yes. This is how he answered it. Or no.
And if you don't write it down, you might forget about it.
You'll forget, right? You'll forget, right? And it's all about taking notes. It's all about taking notes. You guys remember being in the military. I don't know about any other branch, but in the Marine Corps, we had little green monsters. Little green monsters, they told us, this has to stay with you at all times. You got roll call, accountability, parts, labor. You had to take notes on everything that you were doing, right? So you had this little green monster you guys kept on you at all times. You guys remember those little green monsters, right? It's now your civilians. You can get cool freaking journals now, like her leather-bound journal that she had. I'm sure she's got all kinds of different types of journals everywhere, right? Like everything. And that's one of the things that we have to do just in life in general is take notes, right? How are we treating ourselves, right? I read a meme just not too long ago, and it was like, how do you pour from an empty cup of coffee? How do you pour to help somebody else from an empty cup of coffee? If you're not refilling yourself, you can't, right? You have to treat yourself. You have to take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, you can help more people. You can't help people if you're not helping yourself.
It's like the airplanes tell you, put on your own oxygen mask before you try to help somebody else. It sounds kind of silly, but you're like, no, I mean, if I'm focused on everybody else right now, I'm going to go down. Right. And I could probably help a lot more people if I take care of me and then take care of everybody else. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I mean, looking at the Bible, that's a way to recharge too. That's like plugging yourself back into the grid to get the energy to continue on with the rest of your day.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Yana, we're getting close to the end of the show. It's been a great episode, dude. Like I said, this is always a great episode for me. Like I tell you guys, this is my counseling session. I get to do this once a week with a new guest every time and just hang out and enjoy what they're doing in our community as well, right? Like I tell you guys, I'm super excited to bring Yana on because for those of you that are very religious, and you guys have contemplated using cannabis, but you're like, well, because of my religion this, because of my religion that, right? Coming from the biblical standpoint, Yana showed it to you. Here's the scripture, right? And in a little description box, wherever you listen to it at, click the description box. I'm gonna get all Yana's information, right? She's got a new podcast coming out on biblical manifestation. It's going to be definitely worth a listen to, right? Every day, right? There's podcasts everywhere. People are podcasting all the time. Everybody's podcasting, right? But to actually understand who Yana is and why she's doing what she's doing, this will help you guys further your walk with the Lord and Savior, further your walk and have a better understanding of what it is. Why is she fighting? Why is she telling people this? She's helping educate, right? She's educating people, right? Like I tell you guys, you can listen to us, but definitely go and do your own research to make sure that we're not filling your head full of crap.
Exactly.
Make sure you definitely do that. Well, Yana, we're getting close to the end of the show. How do you want to sign off and let these people know about you?
Well, my podcast is going to start to be released in the next couple of months. But in the meantime, you guys can follow me on social media. I'm really big on my Instagram, which is Yasaranchuk, YASARANCHUK. CHUK. I always answer messages, and I do have a coaching program for those entrepreneurs who are looking for more out of their life. If you want to know how to manifest wealth, but still be close to the Lord through biblical principles, I offer a coaching program where you will work with me on one-on-one. But I just want to mention to every single listener here today, we're so thankful for you. And you have so much value and potential. The Lord loves you. There's a reason you were here today. And I just want you to know that you're very much loved and taken care of. And not only do we appreciate you, but God appreciates you. And remember that there is a plant that God made for every kind of problem that humanity would ever face, because God he's omnipresent. He functions in the future, the past, the present. Something that he did 1,000 years ago is still active today, like the death of Jesus. So you were brought here for a purpose. And there was something that was created thousands of years ago for you to be used today, which it could be, it could be lavender, turmeric, it could be eucalyptus, it could be THC. But just know that anything that you are dealing with, there's something out there currently in the plant medicine world that will help you. So don't turn to pharmaceutical drugs. Don't turn to alcohol. No judgment, but there are better ways to keep you healthy and sane.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't love it anymore. That's how I always try to tag out my shows, letting them know that you are important, man. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us today, enjoying this time together, getting to hang out with Yana, right? Yana's just spilling it to you and letting you know, right? Go definitely check out her podcast. Like I said, I'll have everything in the description box below, to the side, wherever it's at, man. Like I tell you guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the content. Give me a 5-star review. I know Benny over at Simple Sometimes is already getting... He's already got 5 stars.
From me.
There you go. Go leave me a star. Give me a star so this content can get out there so people can find out what you're listening to. Why wouldn't you want them to listen to STONED VET USMC? Why not? Let's break that stigma on cannabis and let's legalize this plant, man. Like I tell you guys every episode when I tag out, you are important. Ain't nobody in this world can do what you can do. You are needed in this country. You are needed in this world because you provide something that nobody else can provide to anybody else, man. Remember, you have a purpose in this life. You may not understand it yet, but it's here. And you're doing it without even realizing you're doing it. You're very important to us. I love you guys very much. Don't ever feel you're left alone, because you're not. We're always here with you. We got you 6, man. That's why I always tell you guys, here at the STONED VET, we got you 6.
They got us marching and stepping by my platoon, you get trampled. If it ain't raining, we ain't training. Nothing changed by complaining. I adapt and overcome. I make the best out of situations. I stay alert for my enemies trying to do me some harm. I fight for your freedom of speech and your right to bear arms. When I say